Hey Glenlon, Miss Pring here for a yoga session. It's being posted a little bit later than I would have liked. Yesterday there was massive issues with technology, so I didn't want to have a super stressed yoga session, so decided to just take a deep breath, just as yoga teaches us, and try again. So today's practice doesn't have a specific focus for our bodies necessarily. It's just getting some movement in, getting some flexibility work in, hopefully, and just getting our bodies to feel a little bit better. But mentally, usually when I do a yoga video, I talk about one word that I kind of keep as my focus. And today it's going to be positivity, especially yesterday with a lot of the issues that I was having. Positivity has sometimes been elusive, especially in recent weeks. So I really want to keep my focus on that. Really keeping my focus on some of the positive things that are happening in yoga, in workouts. It's sometimes easy to feel negative. It's easy to be thinking about, why can't I do this? Why am I not flexible? And to kind of get down on ourselves a little bit, which is the exact opposite of the purpose. The purpose when we're working out or doing yoga is to work from where we are and try to improve or maintain where we are. So it's sort of counterproductive for us to really criticize ourselves for not being somewhere already because we haven't got there yet. And just being really positive about where we are currently. This is something many people struggle with and have to continually remind themselves. And I know that for maybe young people who are like, but I thought adults had it all together. We don't have it all together all the time. We're still working on ourselves as well. So today's message is positivity. If you need to go grab a couple of things, now's your time. I have ready for me if I need. I have some blankets we're doing sort of a little bit of a seated series within this practice. So if you need to have hips above legs, that's a really good thing to have handy. I have a belt, a belt handy. I only need it for really one pose today, but it's a really good idea to have on hand just in case. And I have a chair handy for a little bit later if there's a couple poses that would benefit from a chair. So if you have those things handy, that would be great. So if you need to pause the video, go get those things now. If you don't have those things and you're wondering if you can still do this, absolutely you can. There's just going to be a couple of different things that you're going to do. So now that you're back, welcome after getting those things. Your belt. You're going to place it over your right shoulder. It can be a strap. It can be like the tie from a robe, just as long as it's something that's sturdy enough for you to be able to pull on without breaking or stretching it. That would be great. We're going to start off our practice today in mountain pose. So either hip width or feet together. It's up to you. Toes spread wide. Our weight is over our heels. Kneecaps are lifting, so our legs are firm and strong. We're pulling our belly button back towards our spines. We're activating our core body here. Tucking the tailbone under so bums aren't sticking out the back. And because bodies are shaped different, you could be tucking your tailbone under and it still feels like your bum is out back. That's okay. Okay. If you're like, Miss Pernay, I don't need to do that because I don't need to tuck my tailbone. Remember, we're talking about bones. So there's your tailbone needs to sort of be tucked right under you. So we're not talking about our glutes, we're talking about our tailbone. All right, so that's something to keep in mind. Okay, core body tight. Big inhale. Lift the chest up. Even on exhale, we're keeping that chest high. Shooting our fingertips to the ground. Gaze is soft, straight ahead. All right. On an inhale, we're going to lift our arms up. keeping space for our ears. In other words, my arms aren't right beside my ears. My shoulder blades are moving down my body. I'm going to interlock my fingers. You stay and press my heels up, heels of my hands up. You're going to stay standing tall. I'm just going to crouch down so you can see what my hands look like. That's what my hands look like. Deep breath here. I have to remind myself pretty frequently in this pose to continue to do all those little things that I talked about to start. Toes spread wide, kneecaps lifting, tailbone tucked. All of those things take some focus. So it's okay if you need to remind yourself every once in a while. Let's lower our hands onto our heads, and we're going to move the crossing. So we're going to move the top pinky to the underneath pinky. And this crossing is probably going to feel very strange to you, but we got to do both sides. Inhale, press up. We're only pressing up as far as our elbows will stay straight. So I'm actually having to come down a little bit on this side. Just this crossing actually is a little bit different for me. Exhale and lower. Lovely. All right. So this next one, we're going to stay in mountain. We're going to start the same way, arms up, but we're going to use our strap to really get a good shoulder and tricep stretch in. So activate your mountain. Kneecaps are lifting, our weights over our heels, tailbone tucked, belly button moving back towards our spine. Inhale, lift the chest, keep it nice and high. Let's raise our arms up, palms facing each other. We're going to lower our right hand to the belt so it can grab on, swinging the left arm up our backs. It's also going to grab the belt, and we're going to start to pull the belt apart. The right elbow shooting up towards the ceiling so it doesn't wing out. It's keeping pretty close, and the back elbow rooted towards the ground. So in the back, that's sort of what we're looking like. If you can clasp your fingers together, go for it. Hopefully you heard me. If you can clasp your fingers in the back, go for it. Usually we have one side that's a little bit easier to do that than the other. So that's one of the reasons we have the belt, so that we can still get that nice activation, pulling the belt away from, pulling the belt apart without necessarily having to clasp our hands. Release and lower. And I really encourage you, whenever we're doing sort of one side then the other, to have a feel for how your body actually physically feels after we've done one side and not the other. So this time we're going to switch the belt over to the left side, moving the belt, moving the ponytail. It's the same thing. Mountain pose. Arms up. We're going to slowly lower the left arm, swing the right arm back. So I'm going to show you exactly how different some are. So that's how far apart this side is for me. Each body has its own sort of rhythms and differences. I have some lingering shoulder issues. I don't have the flexibility in that shoulder, and I'm not really supposed to for me. So that's why this one looks so different than my other one. But I can still get some benefits from this for my left tricep. So that's why we're still doing it. Just because a pose for your body doesn't look exactly like it looks in professional yoga videos or books or in yoga classes doesn't mean you're not doing it, and doesn't mean you're not doing it for benefits. Each body's going to probably look a little bit different, and that's okay. Exhale. Nice. Now both of my shoulders feel much more even. Both of them feel like they've done the work. My triceps feel nice and loose. You can set the belt to the side. We're going to go into a triangle, extended triangle. So we're going to shift our feet 3.5 to 4 feet apart-ish. Essentially, you're going to spread your legs wide enough so that you're feeling just a little stretch here. Edges of my feet are parallel to the narrow edges of the mat. I'm going to turn my right foot out. And I feel comfortable and confident straightening this knee, but if you need a little bend in it, put a little bend in it. There's nothing wrong with that. Arms up, palms down. I'm going to tilt forward my torso, and I'm going to tip. Oops, there's my speaker. I'm going to tip down, and I'm going to rest my right hand and press it into my calf. If you need to press it into your thigh, that's fine. If you could go all the way to the ground, wonderful. The only thing I'm going to ask is that we don't collapse forward, that we're trying to keep our chest nice and open. In fact, this shoulder, I want to almost turn up to the other one. Don't forget to breathe. One more breath here. We're going to inhale. Come up, turn the foot, and we're going to turn our other foot. What we do to one side, we must do to the other. Tilt and tip. You might find you can get a little bit lower on one side rather than the other. Awesome. Work where you are. This time my left shoulder is going to turn to the sky. If it doesn't feel comfortable for you to look up at your hand, there's no need. You can just look right ahead. But we want to try to keep our chest as open as we can. Exhale, come up. All right, you can put your arms down for a moment, but we're not done with our wide stance. We're going to turn our right foot out again. This time, we're going to actually move through Warrior Two. Here we are. Notice I'm straight up and down. I'm not leaning out over the front knee yet, foreshadowing. I'm going to move my back leg back just a little bit. Now I'm going to tilt and I'm going to tip. And if you can come to the ground without collapsing, that's great. If not, we're still going to press elbow into leg, turn and look. If you can. If it doesn't feel good to do that, just stay where it's comfortable for your neck. Spine is still long. I'm not crunching in. Inhale up. Straighten the knee, turn the foot. You got it, other side. Let's turn that left foot. Bend the knee, moving through Warrior Two. Take a moment here. I find that sometimes as soon as my arms get tired, they come in. Try to bring them back. Knees stacked over ankle. Tilt and tip. If you can come to the ground, wonderful. If not, elbow into leg. Turning the chest as much as we can. It's also going to depend on your balance a bit. Straighten the knee, turn the foot. One last pose here. Whew. This time we're doing a wide-legged forward bend. The idea here is that, once again, my tailbone is tucked and it's going to stay in line with my legs. So if we can at all, we're going to try not to push our bum back. We're going to bend right from where our legs meet our pelvis, but our legs are going to stay stationary. So I'm going to keep a nice long spine. I like to keep my hands here until I need, and then I'm going to reach down. Spine is nice and long here. If this is too far down for you, move that chair in front and rest on the chair. You still get all the benefits of the pose. So from here, my spine is still able to be nice and long. My legs are in line, or my bum is in line with my legs. And now exhale. Now I'm allowing myself, my upper body to rest a little bit. My hands are supporting me. My legs are still working hard though. On an inhale, hands at hips. Inhale, slow up. We're gonna heel toe our way in. It's one of my favorite parts. Wonderful. Give your legs a shake if you need. We were just supporting them in that wide stance for quite a while. If you ever need to take a break and just do a shake, feel free. Okay, we're gonna come to do our cat-cow. So we're coming to a tabletop position, knees underneath hips, hands underneath shoulders. And we're gonna cycle through with our breath. So when we inhale, we're pushing our bellies to the ground, tailbone to the sky, looking up. Exhale, vertebrae by vertebrae, curving our back up towards the sky, curling our head and sit bones towards the ground. Just go through about 4 breaths at your own pace. And then come to a tabletop. We're going to move into down dog here. So I'm moving my palms out a little bit. I'm going to curl my toes under. Then I'm going to lift my hips, keeping a generous bend in my knee. Fingers are spread nice and wide. Ms. McInnes always talks about starfish hands. Keep those fingers nice and wide for good support. Lifting hips, generous bend in the knee, and just feel yourself pedaling. So you get a nice long stretch in the backs of your legs, alternating. You can continue to do this if it feels really good. If you are ready to just be still in down dog, slight bend in the knee, just to keep it safe, and then press your upper body back towards your legs. Really pressing your hands firmly into the mat. If the backs of your legs are too tight, I encourage you to lift your toes as well. Or pardon me, lift your heels as well. All right, slowly bending the knees and lowering nice and wide as the mat. This is where you can grab your blankets if you'd like to put between your sit bones and your heels, or underneath your head here, just a quick child's pose. Hands are still spread wide, active, pressing into the mat. All right, inhale, slow come up. Let's move into one more down dog. So toes are curled under, lifting hips. If you're still pretty new to yoga, I really encourage you to stay nice and wide on your mat. It allows you to be a little bit more stable and not as worried about balance. I moved you right into a stationary down dog, but if you would like to continue to pedal, go for it. Moving to plank, and then you're just going to walk your feet up the mat. I'm going to keep my legs about hip width apart here. These pants don't show very well, but there's still a bend in my knee. I'm going to inhale, come halfway up. Long spine here. Try to keep your weight over your heels if you can. Exhale, come down, still keeping a bend in my knee, lowering my head. Inhale, slow, all the way up this time. Really important that we continue to come out of poses slowly, because especially if we are inverted like that, head below heart, if we come up too quickly, then sometimes that's when we get those starry eyes. Or like you pop off of the couch quickly, sometimes you feel like, whoa, I I might pass out almost. We don't want that in the middle of our practice. So that's why we come in and out of things slowly and thoughtfully. All right, wonderful. So this is the time to grab your chair. If you don't have just like a kitchen chair or anything, you can do this on your couch. You could do this on the floor. If you're doing it on the floor, I encourage you to do it in a position that you feel really comfortable in. Maybe it's cross-legged. Maybe it's kneeling. But I'm going to walk you through that. The reason I like a chair, we're going to do a twist. The reason I like a chair, the back of your chair towards your right shoulder, is that there's very little in our way of getting a really good twist in other than our actual back, the thing that we're trying to twist. So there's no like hamstrings getting in our way, no other discomfort. It's just our back. So here, my knees are over my feet. They're about hip width apart. Nice long spine. Inhale, lift the chest. Roll your shoulders. When I say roll my shoulders, I don't mean this. I actually mean moving them from front to back. Right hand is going to go on the back of your chair. If you are on a couch, maybe on the back of the couch. If you're seated, on the mat on the floor, you're going to put your right arm behind you. Your left hand is going to come to your right knee. All right, so hand here, my left hand is also going to come to the back of my chair. When I inhale, I'm lifting my chest, keeping it lifted. On exhale, I'm going to start to twist. Listen to your body here. We don't want to move our spine further than it wants to go. Remember, discomfort, understandable. Pain, not acceptable. Okay? So inhale, lift. Exhale, begin your twist. Gaze is nice and soft, just following my right shoulder. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. I'm going to stay here for one more breath. And slowly unwind. Really important that when I unwind, I'm still lifted. I don't want that friction between my vertebrae as it twists. All right, you can just flip your body around for your chair. I'm going to move my chair so I'm facing you. So the back of your chair is now at the left shoulder. So getting yourself set. Knees over ankles. All right, inhale, big lift in the chest. Left hand goes to the back. Right hand either goes to your leg or the back of the chair. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. Slow unwind. And exhale. Lovely. All right, we're going to take a seat on our mat now. I'm going to keep the chair for this one actually. And I'm going to bring my blankets into play underneath my sit bones. We're taking a wide leg stance here. So raising my sit bones actually allows me to sit like this more comfortably and straight up, so I don't necessarily feel the need to lean back or hunch forward. That's one of the reasons that we want to lift the sit bones. It has to do with our flexibility in the backs of our legs a lot. Sometimes that restricts us. So I'm sitting here nice and tall. Inhale, lifting the chest. And on an exhale, if you don't have a chair in front of you, I just encourage you to grab your legs and pull your chest through forward. just as far as you can go, while keeping a long spine. As soon as we start to do this, I don't want that anymore. I can go much farther if I'm curled over, but I lose that wonderful long spine, and we really want to keep that right now. So I'm here. I've kept this because sometimes this feels like a ton of work. It's really hard to keep all the way up. And this might feel really nice, just resting here, keeping that nice long spine without having to pull and use my arms. You can also grab the back legs of your chair to bring yourself just a little bit further. That might feel really good. Remember, discomfort makes sense, pain does not. We're not here for pain. Toes to the sky, please and thanks. Nice. Definitely take a moment to feel your body right now. My lower back, I have to admit, is tired. The backs of my legs actually feel kind of cool, like temperature cool, and quite open right now, which is really nice. I'm going to move my chair to the side or behind me. I'm going to face you again. We're moving into butterfly. I'm going to keep my my blankets here. Soles of our feet together. Two options here, whichever one feels really good to you. Hands on feet or hooked into big toes, pulling forward, nice long spine. Or hands like suction cups, just behind. Inhale and pressing up. Shoulders, not by ears, just pushing down, getting some length in the spine. Whichever one makes sense to you, whichever one allows your legs to rest. Your legs shouldn't be doing the work here, actually. If your knees are quite high, pillows are a great idea to stack up and just give them support so they have something to rest into. I love this pose. I will sit in it just on a daily basis just because. So feet together, chest through, legs are relaxed here. If you notice tension in them, they're fighting, just try to bring your awareness to that area and see if you can breathe some space into it. I'll often notice it in my feet, actually. Slow release. Lovely. Bridge. So bridge is, it can be a back extension. Our first repetition, we're going to just sort of activate some things. Second repetition, we're going to lean into the back extension portion. So we're getting our bodies onto the mat in a crunch position, feet as close to your bum as you can, sort of by fingertips, and they should be hip width apart. I'm going to make sure that my shoulder blades are flat on the ground here, and when I come into this, it's really important that your throat is nice and relaxed. We want to keep our neck safe, and that's the way we do it. When we're trying to keep things safe, often our instinct is to clench. In this case, keeping safe means nice and loose. So here, all I'm going to do is I'm grabbing the edges of my mat and I'm going to lift my hips up. I'm not going to turn and look at you right now because I'm keeping that throat really loose. Squeeze those glutes. Lift, lift, lift. This is a really common exercise for us in Eklund Lund's gym. Exhale, lower, feet wide, knees together. Second repetition, I'm going to ask you to start to pull your mat apart underneath you, and as soon as you start to do that, you'll feel like your shoulders want to roll under you and arch your back a bit. That's what we're going to do. The whole time we're keeping our throats nice and soft, and we're actually going to extend our back up a little bit more. So I'm still really focused on squeezing my glutes and pushing my torso up. Okay, so let's reset here. Both fingertips, hip width apart, throat soft, lifting my hips up, throat soft, and now I'm pulling apart, and right away you can see my shoulders want to roll under. I'm going to help them along with that, and push up, throat soft. Listen to your body here. If it says no, listen to it, please. Throat soft. Exhale. Slow down. Snap, crackle, pop. In the knees. Feet wide, knees together. And just rest here for a moment. Because we've just done a back extension, it's really important that we let our lower back rest. And in this position, we don't really have to work to keep our lower back on the mat or to keep our legs up. So everything's supported, but we can relax into it. If you feel those snap, crackles, and pops while you do it, or while you're in a pose, moving into a pose, if it's painful, stop, slowly move out of the pose. If it just pops, that's okay. I'm sure you heard my hips, I'm sure you heard my knees, my spine and the twists. Some of that cracking is completely natural. All right, we're going to extend our right leg. We're going to lift our left leg up, arms tee out, and we're going to roll that left leg over to the right, trying to keep our left shoulder down. We're in another twist. Activate your core body. Pull that belly button back towards the spine as you come to center. Extend the left leg. Lift the right. And now we're going to fold over the other way. I'm going to move my chair as I do it. And my blankets are actually here, which is kind of nice. If your leg is up here, and that's as far as you can get, rest your leg on your chair. Rest it on a stack of pillows, on a stack of blankets. Activate the core, pull that belly button back towards your spine. Come back to center, bend both knees, give both knees a good hug. We're going to lower our left leg. We're going to rest our right heel on our left leg, open it up, figure four, thread the needle if you can. If this is enough of a stretch for you, stay here. If you can, thread the needle through, interlace the fingers behind your hamstring, and give a little pull, flexing toes on both to keep knees safe. This is also a good idea if you had your belt. If you can't quite get your hands there, but you can still lift, using your belt to support and pull in is a great idea. A strap or a belt is a great addition to any yoga practice. Exhale, down. We're going to switch legs. So left heel onto right knee. Toes are flexed. Interlock the fingers or use your belt and pull in. slowly lower. We're moving into our Shavasana next. So if you would like to take traditional, palms are up, shoulder blades are flat, legs down and relaxed. Really, for this final rest though, I just want you to be in a position where you can be relaxed and still. Stay here for as long as you'd like today. I invite you to close your eyes if you're wearing glasses. Take them off and just put them beside you. Try not to be touching anything but the floor. And just breathe here. I'm going to move out of my pose, but I'd love for you to stay in yours. And as you're in your rest, really just notice your breath and bring your attention there. If you find your mind wanders, that's okay. Acknowledge the thought and then let it go again. Feel how positive your body feels right now, having done a little bit of work. And now resting, being nourished by your breath and your attention. If you're finding that there's tension anywhere, give a nice big inhale. Envision all the air heading to that area. And on your exhale, releasing all the tension. It's amazing after a little bit of activity and movement, how much better I feel, and hopefully you feel. Thank you so much for joining me for this yoga practice today. If you would love to stay in this position, feel free to, as long as you like or need. And try to go about your day with some positivity. Thanks so much, Glenlyn. Namaste.